It's January the 15th, 1966, somewhere in West Africa. As the last echoes of the festive season fade into the silence of the night, a gathering storm brews in the shadows. A group of young, idealistic army majors embark on a daring plan that will forever change the course of the most populous black nation's history. The air is charged with tension as the young republic confronts deep-seated ethnic rivalries, rampant corruption, and a fractured political system that struggles to unify its diverse peoples. A nation just over 5 years into its independence from British colonial rule stands at a crucial crossroads. The clock ticks past midnight in Lagos. The bustling federal capital, Nigeria's first republic, established in 1960, is crumbling. The 1964 general elections, marred by widespread rigging, violence, and allegations of fraud, have deepened the mistrust between the country's major ethnic groups, the Hausa Fulani in the north, the Yoruba in the west, and the Igbo in the east. The Northern People's Congress (NPC), led by Sir Ahmadu Bello, the Sultan of Sokoto, dominates the federal government under Prime Minister Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa. Their allies, the Nigerian National Democratic Party (NNDP) under Chief Samuel Akintola, control the western region. Meanwhile, the National Convention of Nigerian Citizens (NCNC), backed largely by the Igbo, holds sway in the east but feels sidelined nationally. The streets buzz with discontent. Ordinary Nigerians, weary of flamboyant ministers who loot public funds while poverty festers, whisper about change. Intellectuals and radicals decry the new colonial stench clinging to the government, accusing it of serving British interests over people's. In the barracks, a group of young army officers, most of them majors in their late 20s and early 30s, share these frustrations. Trained in the United Kingdom at prestigious institutions like Sandhurst, they are idealistic, disciplined, and fiercely patriotic. They see the military as the last hope of order in a nation fast running into anarchy. Among them is Major Chukwuma Kaduna Nzeogwu, a charismatic and fearless officer stationed in Kaduna, the capital of the northern region. He is the linchpin of this conspiracy, a man driven by a vision of a corruption-free Nigeria. Alongside him are Majors Emmanuel Ifeajuna, Adewale Ademoyega, Timothy Onwatuegu, Chris Anuforo, Donatus Okafor, and Humphrey Chukwuka. Since August 1965, they meet in secret, plotting a surgical strike to decapitate the government and install a revolutionary regime, one to be headed by Chief Obafemi Awolowo, a Yoruba man from the western region. The grievances are clear. The politicians are corrupt, the regional rivalries are tearing the country apart, and the military must intervene to save Nigeria from itself. It's 2 a.m. and the night is still. In Kaduna, Nzeogwu gathers his men from the Nigerian Military Training College. He has been clever, disguising their preparations as a routine exercise called Exercise Damisa. For weeks, he takes his troops on night marches near Ahmadu Bello's mansion, testing their readiness and scouting the terrain. Brigadier Samuel Ademolegun, commander of the 2nd Brigade, grows irritated by the noise and even reprimands Nzeogwu over the phone. But he remains oblivious to the true purpose. Tonight, Nzeogwu assembles his units in a bush near the Saldana's residence. He briefs them. This is no drill. They are to storm the mansion, eliminate the Saldana, and seize control of the north. In Lagos, Major Ifeajuna coordinates a parallel operation. His target is Prime Minister Balewa, along with key federal ministers and senior army officers loyal to the government. He commands a detachment from the 2nd Brigade and plans to hit multiple locations simultaneously. Balewa's residence, the homes of finance ministers Festus Okotie-Ebo and Western Region Premier Akintola, who is in Lagos for a meeting. Meanwhile, Major Ademoyega is tasked with securing key installations in the city. In Ibadan, the Western Region capital, Major Onwatuegu leads a team to reinforce the Lagos operations' impact by neutralizing any resistance from Akintola's base. In Enugu, the Eastern Region capital, and Benin, the Midwest, smaller units stand ready to arrest any regional leaders and secure government buildings. Though these efforts are less coordinated, the plotters aim to strike fast and hard, eliminating the bigwigs in their way, Bello, Balewa, Akintola, and others, before the government can react. In Kaduna, Nzeogwu's men creep toward Ahmadu Bello's mansion. The night is quiet, save for the rustle of leaves and the distant barking of dogs. Armed with submachine guns and grenades, they breach the gates. Guards raise the alarm, but it's too late. Nzeogwu leads the charge, his voice backing orders as bullets tear through the air. The Saldana rises from his slumber, draped in white robes, unaware that his fate is already sealed in the shadows of rebellion. He refuses to flee, standing defiant as Nzeogwu confronts him. A brief exchange, perhaps a demand for surrender, ends with gunfire. Bello falls. his body crumbling on the steps alongside his wife and several guards. The mansion is secured within minutes. Nzeogwu wastes no time. He declares martial law over a crackling radio transmission, his voice echoing across the north. We have taken control to rid this nation of corrupt and rotten ministers. Stay calm. The revolution has begun. His men fan out, blockading roads and seizing the Kaduna airports. In Lagos, Ifajuna's team storms Balewa's residence on Victoria Island. The Prime Minister, a soft-spoken Hausa statesman, is dragged from his bed in his nightclothes. His pleas for mercy fall on deaf ears. Ifajuna, an Olympic high jumper turned soldier, is methodical. Balewa is shot execution style, his body left sprawled in the courtyard. Nearby, Finance Minister Okoti Ebo, a flamboyant Midwesterner, known for his ostentatious wealth, meets a similar fate. Soldiers burst into his home, riddling him with bullets as he stumbles from his room. Across town, Akintola, the Western premier, fights back. Alerted by the gunfire, he grabs a rifle and fires at the intruders from his window. A fierce firefight ensues, but Onwatuegu's men overwhelm his defenses. Akintola is gunned down, his blood staining the floor of his Lagos quarters. Simultaneously, senior army officers loyal to the government, Brigadier Zakaria Maimalari, Colonel Kur Mohammed, and Lieutenant Colonel Abogo Lajema, are hunted down and killed in their homes or barracks. The streets of Lagos hum with chaos as soldiers block the Niger and Benue River, cutting off escape routes. In Ibadan, Onwatuegu's secondary team moves to consolidate control, but resistance is slight. Akintola's death in Lagos has already crippled the Western region's leadership. In Enugu, however, the operation falters. Major Okafor's unit attempts to arrest Eastern Premier Michael Okpara, but he slips away, won by loyalists. The East remains wildly untouched, a fact that will later fuel suspicions. In Benin, the Midwestern operation sees limited success, with government buildings occupied but no major casualties. As the sun rises, the coup's scope becomes clear. 11 senior politicians and 2 soldiers lie dead, with 3 others kidnapped. The plotters have struck in Kaduna, Lagos, and Ibadan with ruthless precision, but their plan to seize total control unravels. In Lagos, the radio broadcast Ademoyega plan never happens. Technical issues or resistance at the station stop the announcements. Nzeogwu, expecting news from the capital, grows restless in Kaduna. He learns from local journalists that the BBC is reporting the coup, not Nigerian airwaves, a sign of disarray. The government, though decapitated, is not yet defeated. Senate President Nwafo Orizu, acting in the absence of President Nnamdi Azikiwe, who is abroad, huddles with surviving cabinet members. They are rattled but resolute. Meanwhile, Major General Johnson Aguiyi-Ironsi, the general officer commanding GOC of the Nigerian Army, emerges as a counterforce. An Igbo officer not involved in the plots, he rallies loyal troops in Lagos, forcing Ifajuna and his men to flee north to Kaduna to join Nzeogwu. By midday on January 16th, the coup teeters. Nzeogwu holds the north, but the south is slipping from the plotters' grasp. Ironsi mobilizes the army, arresting or scattering the conspirators' forces. Orizu, under pressure, broadcasts a stunning decision. The cabinet voluntarily hands power to the military. That evening, Ironsi takes the stage, accepting the invitation to lead. He declares a supreme military council, suspends the constitution, and vows to restore order. The nation reels. The dead include towering figures Bello, Balewa, Akintola, mostly from the north and west, while the east's leaders survive. Public reaction shifts from indifference to outrage as ethnic lenses color the narrative. This is fueled even more as the BBC whispers of an Igbo coup, pointing to the plotters' predominantly Igbo makeup and Ironsi's accent, ignoring the fact that the ultimate goal of the coup was to install a Yoruba man, Awolowo, as the head of the intended new government. Pogroms loom on the horizon. As January 17th dawns, Nigeria is no longer a democracy. The first republic is dead, replaced by military rule. Nzeogwu, Ifajuna, and their comrades are hailed as patriots by some, villains by others. Their noble intent to end corruption drowns in the blood they've spilled, igniting ethnic tension that will explode into a counter-coup in July, the Biafran War by 1967. For now, the nation holds its breath, caught in the grip of a new era, one born in the gunfire of a restless night. While the coup's leaders aimed to restore order and establish a new regime, Nigeria's political landscape was irrevocably altered between the regions. Allegations of ethnic bias in the coup fueled further discord between the regions, as the perception grew that the southern Igbo officers had targeted the predominantly northern political elites. This perception amplified existing regional tensions and ultimately fed into the larger narrative of ethnic conflict that would punctuate Nigeria's history. The The coup's aftermath catalyzed subsequent military interventions and contributed to an atmosphere rife with distrust and division among Nigeria's disparate ethnic groups. As the dust settled, many began to question whether the military coup intended as a corrective measure had instead set the stage for a deeper national divide. In the following months, Nigeria would experience a rough period marked by a succession of military leaders, political instability, and escalating ethnic tensions, paving the way for the catastrophic Nigerian Civil War that followed a mere year later. The events surrounding the 1966 coup and its consequences stand as a critical reminder of the fragile nature of governance in multi-ethnic societies and the deep-rooted issues that can lead to conflicts. The coup not only altered the political landscape of Nigeria, but also profoundly affected its social fabric, a legacy that continues to resonate to this day. The narrative of the coup and its surrounding characters illustrates the complexities of Nigerian politics and the interplay of ideology, regionalism, and the personal ambition in moments of national crisis. I am Wordsmith Izu. I tell it as it is. Until I come your way again, stay informed. DJ No.